Hello and welcome to the New York Times Heart Puzzle. Today is the 23rd of February 2023. I came back a couple of days early because the final destination that I was aiming for on my motorcycle road trip, namely the town of Hamburg, was weather forecasted to be wet. And I had absolutely no desire to ride motorcycles in the rain because it's no fun. So I spent a couple of days in Kontum instead. It's a lovely city in the Central Highlands, about 600 meters above sea level. And I will definitely go there again next time I'm in Vietnam. That will be in October, because I found out that instead of spending a day and a half to get there, I could actually get all the way from Kontum back to my town of residence in only 7.5 hours, 338 kilometers, and that was without speeding. I stopped twice, once for gas, once for coffee, and I had to go slowly in the mountains because, as usual, it rained. To get from the Central Highlands down to the coast, there's always a mountain range that one has to pass. So in this case, combined two passes of about 15 kilometers in length. So that's why I'm able and happy to record this solve today. At least I expect that I will be able to solve it. I hope so. And we should get started on it, shouldn't we? I see the two ones blocking over here and the one blocking up here. So this is a 1. And I see a couple of 6s blocking these squares and the 6 blocking across here. So this is a 6. I see a 9 and a 1 here and a 9 and a 1 here, forcing a 9 and a 1 into these two squares. The 3 and the 6, they have to go in these two squares. And because of the 6 here, the 3 must go here and the 6 here. So anything else that I can see immediately? Well, a 5 must go in one of these two squares because of these two 5s. These two 7s force a 7 to go in one of these two squares here. And oh yeah, there's a 6 blocking over here and there's a 6 blocking up here and there's a 6 blocking up here. So this is a 6 and that 6 blocks over here while this 6 blocks up here, making this a 6. This 6 blocks down, this 6 blocks up, this 6 blocks across, and so does this 6. So this is a 6. And we found all the 6s in this grid. Nice. Look at the two 4s here. They block here, right? Now look at the two 4 here. They block here, right? So these two squares here must be 2 and 4. And that means that in combination with the 1, 9 here, we still need to find a 3 and a 5. Can we find that? 3, 5, 5. No, not immediately, I don't think. I'm seeing the 8 blocking down here and the 8 blocking across, so one of these must be an 8 and therefore one of these must be an 8. But that's all I can say about the 8s at this stage. But I've been talking about the 2s and 4s here, and I completely ignored the fact that this 4 blocks up here and this 4 blocks over here, so this is a 4. But now, there you have it. And these two 4s now block here and here, while this 4 blocks here. So this is a 4. And we are closing in on the rest of the 4s, I think. Let's see, a couple of 4s blocking, a 4 blocking over here, making this a 4. One of these must be a 4 now. Which one is going to be, we'll have to see later. But I think we can resolve the 2 and the 5 that we are going to have in these two squares, because the two blocks over here making one of these a 2, and we know that one of these is a 2, so therefore this must be a 2 and this must be a 5. The two nines force a 9 to go in one of these three squares, and the 7 blocks this square, so another digit that has to go in one of these three squares is going to be the 7. I was trying to figure out if I could find out what the two other digits, well, I know what the two other digits are going to be. They're going to be an 8 and a 3, but I don't see how I can place them yet. But I can see the 2 blocking up here and the 2 blocking down here and the 2 blocking across. So this is definitely going to be a 2. Now we can make use of our 8s, because the 8 blocks these two squares and this 8 blocks this square, so this must be an 8. We know that a 7 and a 9 must go in two squares in this block in this row. So the only square left is this, and that is a 3. These two squares now have to be a 2 and an 8. I can't do anything with that. But I know now, because the 3 blocks here, that one of these is a 3. We also have a 3 blocking down, and we have a 3 and a 3 here blocking over. So there's only one square available for a 3 in this row here, and that is this square. I'm quite interested in block 8. If we examine this square here, what can it not be? It cannot be a 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. It can be a 4 or a 5. Let's examine this square. It cannot be a 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, or 9. So these two squares are a 4 and a 5. And remember how we said that these two squares have to be a 2 and a 4? Because of the 4 now in one of these two squares, this must be a 2. Therefore, this must be a 4. And with the 1, 9 pair here, these two squares now have to be a 5 and a 3. Let's see if we can figure out, knowing that these are 4s and 5s, what these are. They have to be a 1, 9 and a 3. We know the 3 will have to go one here or here. So this has got to be a 1, 9. What are these 3? Another 1, 3, and a 9. They seem to come in groups, huh? I think I'll have to get back to that. But always when we know that we have found a couple of pairs or a pair, it's always a good idea to look at the rest of the column or the row or the box, because now we know that these are 4s and 5s. We only need to find a 3 and an 8 for these two squares. And it should be pretty simple, because the 3 forces an 8 to go here, like so. Now this 3 blocks up, this 3 blocks over, making this a 3. And therefore this is a 3. And we know that this must be a 2, because the 2 blocks over here, and there's only one square left in this box that can be a 2. These now have to be a 5 and an 8. There's an 8 blocking, so this is a 5 and this is an 8. And by the way, that makes this a 3, because these were 5s and 3 pairs, right? This square over here has got to be a 7. What are these two? They have to be, well, this must be an 8, of course, because it's the last digit in the row. And that makes this a 2. Yes. That was a bunch of numbers in a very quick succession, but I'm sure that you were able to see what I was doing because all of these digits were self-explanatory. There's a 3 getting over here and a 3 getting over here and a 3 coming down here. So this is a 3. Now we need to find a 1 and a 9 for these two squares. Can we do anything here? Well, we know that the 8 can't go here. What are these two squares? They have to be 8 and a 7. Since the 8 can't go here, it must be a 7, and this must be an 8, and this must be a 5. One of these must be a 5 now, because one of these is a 5. So what about these three squares, a 1, 5, and a 9? No, not yet. But there must be something we can do. And yes, there is. Row 8 needs a 1, 2, 7, and a 9. There's a 2, 7, and a 9 looking down at this square. Therefore, it must be a 1. And that takes care of the 1, 9 we had going on over here. So this is now a 9, and this is a 1, and this is a 9. These two have to be now a 5 and an 8. We have an 8 in this row, so this is a 5 and this is an 8. We got an 8 blocking over and another 8 blocking over and one 8 blocking up, making this an 8. This square must be a 9. And these two have to be a 2 and a 7. They will have to sit tight and wait for a little bit. Still can't solve the 1, 9s here. What about these three squares? 1, 7, and a 4. No. Oh yes, I remember the 7 9s that we had here. We got a 9 down here now, so this must be a 7 and this must be a 9. I have no idea how long I overlooked that little bit. The 7 blocks down, the 7 blocks over, this is a 7. 4, 5, 5, because of the 4 here. So this is a 5, this is a 4, and this is a 5. These two squares have to be a 1 and a 4 now. There's a 4 in the row, making this a 1, and this is 4. And that finally solves the 1, 9 we had here. We got two 9s blocking over and a 9 blocking up, making this a 9. Last digit has got to be a 2, making this a 2, and this is 7. And therefore, this must be a 7. We're still looking for a 1 for this block. There's a 1 here, so the 1 must go here, and the last digit is a 5. So that's how we solved this puzzle today. It's nice to be back in the saddle. Speaking of which, the bike I'm riding on these horrible, horrible, horrible Vietnamese highways is very, very hard on one's backside, I have to admit. The suspension is killing me. I mean, the bike's suspension is killing me. And I hope that I can stand up for the most of the next 2 or 3 days. Enough for today, though. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.